Hey, what's going on, man?
What's good, brother?
All right, what's going on, y'all? This is the Breaking the Narrative podcast. I'm Tony,
Teddy.
and today we have not only are we bringing back a fan favorite at this point, because people love the voice.
Sir Mark is back in the building.
Sir
Yes,
Mark.
sir. Pretty boy Mark. And then we have a newcomer. Please introduce yourself.
What's up, y'all? I'm Shanae, aka Rose Royce. That's what everybody call me, or at least know me by. I've been Rose Royce for years, but yeah, what's up? I'm from Forestville, joining in this evening.
And we got a whip in the building. All right.
One of the videos on.
Originally.
Man, that's good. We got a lot of people coming through now, man.
I told you Forestville is, depend on the city, man.
Yeah.
I don't really get down with that DMV stuff no more, but Maryland, Forestville, I'm with it.
Man,
It's the hometown right there.
Yeah,
yes, it is.
man.
But today we have ourselves a very deep conversation, and we're going to be talking about the trauma, not just any trauma, stuff that we've dealt with personally. I know in the past we've normally just delved into trauma in general,
Okay.
but this is more of a personal thing. So I honestly don't want to be the one to start it off with the trauma, because personally I think it would be best for people around me to get theirs off first. So
So I was thinking we could ease into the trauma.
are you sure?
Yeah. I wanted to read a scenario.
Okay,
we did the scenarios last
All right,
week.
we can get that.
Yeah,
we can
so
get
this-
that first. Get that out of the way, and then we can knock
Yeah.
the rest of it out.
I mean, this is still serious. This is like a serious scenario.
It is.
All right.
All right.
So
what,
we'll get everybody's opinion on this.
all right, what we got? What we got?
So, this scenario is you loaned one of your close friends $3,000 last year, and since then he/she has refused to pay you back. Your friendship has deteriorated over time because of the financial, problem. So you fall deeper and deeper into debt. So you go to the friend and ask them for $1,000 at this point just to get back on your feet.
Okay.
They say that the best they can give you is $500. So you give them the bank information and you go to bed. You wake up the next morning and you got $5,000 in your account. The friend accidentally sent you $5,000 and is asking you to send back $4,500 because they only meant to send you $500. What do you do? Do you send back $4,500? Do you keep the money that's owed to you, or do you keep all $5,000 and teach them a lesson? What's everybody's opinion?
All right. Come on. Like I'm not even gonna start this one off. I'll give it to y'all.
Well, personally, obviously, I'm not gonna keep the whole 5,000. That's just keeping it simple and plain. To me, it's totally about principle.
Okay.
So I would attempt to change them, and be like, okay, well, now I see that you actually got the money, but for whatever the situation, the reason why they ain't giving me what I asked for, it might be a reason. Of course, I'm gonna feel hard about it though,
Right.
because you got it, I know for a fact you got it, but I'm gonna try to change you by simply just sending the money back. I still got the 500, but we still gonna have a discussion about the whole situation or what it is I just witnessed.
Okay.
And if basically that's where fate is really going to take place during that conversation. And if it does get hectic or whatever the case may be, that just really doesn't work out, then that determines everything right then and there, and that quote unquote friend is just not going to be needed at that point.
Got you.
I don't know. I got mixed emotions about that. Because on one hand, I'm like, what I'm saying, I can do the right thing. On the other hand, I'm like, I'm going to just send them back this $2,000 and I'm going to keep the whole $3. You know what I'm saying? Because, I don't know, it's just so many different ways to handle that. Like, because you already said the friendship deteriorating. So, for me, if it's already deteriorating in my mind, I'm like, okay, just give me my shit so I can go ahead and be about my way and not have to deal with you. So for a mistake like that to come through and you already owed me, I don't know. I might would just have to send them back to 2000. They would be mad at me for keeping the rest of it, but it is what it is. I've been mad all this time. Fuck it, you be mad now. Shit.
Yeah. Natural
Alright.
human reactions.
Man, this one's tough. I've heard it before, like that scenario. I've heard it before.
It's a very
And I-
popular debate
yeah,
going
and
on
I
right now.
thought about it. And I was like, how would I feel in that situation? Because I've honestly been there, but just not that deeply.
Yeah, not,
Like,
that,
people
not
was-
that big amount.
Yeah, people have owed me before, and now I see that they're still buying stuff. I see that consistent.
which is an insult, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I've also owed people before, and I can be on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Oh, so you owe people and you've been buying stuff? Or
No, not like out here just wilding and shit. Like, I never was somebody to just go out and just start wilding with money.
Okay.
Even if I owe somebody, I'm constantly thinking about it.
Okay.
Mm.
So I'll look at it as, if you honestly you owe me a certain amount of money, and I feel as though like you're taking way too long, and then I'm falling into debt because of you,
Mm-hmm.
that's a problem
Right.
just in itself. But then I see that you already have the money to pay for it. Like Mark said, I'm gonna have a serious conversation about you before I give you the money back, though.
Okay.
That's going to, like, your answer is going to determine how much of it you get back.
Mm.
So when Mark was like, all right, I'm going to send it back, but we're going to have a conversation afterwards, they can choose to not talk to you about that. But as long as you have that leverage, they have no choice. So I'm going to be like, all right, I'm going to have to talk to you about this. This $5,000, you still owe me a certain, like, such and such amount of money. So what's going on? And then their answer will determine it. Like, if
Okay.
you say, oh, I had to pay this person, I had to pay that person, I was like, all right, where did I come in?
Right.
So this is $5,000 we talking about. There ain't no way you owe somebody this much money. That means you're already unreliable as it is.
Right. Man, I like your answers, man. My tone a little bit different. First and foremost, you got to come get that shit back in blood.
You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm
5,000.
saying.
Hey,
I don't
Slum.
know.
Now,
Keep
yeah,
going
now
back.
you know how I feel, Slum. Hey, come get this shit, Slum. If not, it's mine. First of all, that's not your friend.
Yeah.
Because a friend's not going to do that. You know,
Yeah.
like, to the point where you can at least communicate, like, what's going on with the situation. You know what I'm saying? If it gets to a point where your friendship is deteriorating, that means there's a lack of communication. There's, you know,
Lack of respect.
yeah. So to get to that point, for somebody to send me 5,000, I'll probably keep it. I'm not gonna hold you.
Yeah, 'cause it's like a kick in the face. Like, I've been needing my money, and you sitting on stacks. of
Yeah,
it. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And then
yeah.
if I'm your friend, you probably already know that I'm struggling. So you watching me struggle while you're holding on to the money that I've been asking you for.
Yeah.
But, like, what
That's
sense
not,
do that
That's
make?
not a friend.
It's not.
Yeah.
Like that's why I would say, like, yeah, I'm gonna hold on to it until you give me the answers that I need to hit.
You got to come
Nah,
get me, Slim.
Yeah.
You giving them a chance to bullshit you some more. They already ain't called you and told you
Yeah,
that they
yeah.
had your bread. So you
I-
waiting for answers is giving them a chance to bullshit
yeah,
you some more.
Damn, y'all just made me sound sweet. Can I
I-
change my answer?
Yeah. I mean,
Come get this 5K. Slim.
yeah, I read it. I read into people pretty well, so I mean, it'd be difficult for somebody to like really just bullshit me out of money if I'm already like leaning towards you stealing from me anyway.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of difficult. So, yeah, more than likely, it'll just be like your answer determines the amount you get back. Because I'm not the type of person to take the whole thing, but I'll be the type of person to take my money back though.
Right.
Yeah, fuck that. I'll take the whole thing. You made me go through karma, you're going to go through it too.
Hey, shit.
I don't know. If I take more than what I'm owed, then I start feeling like I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah, hey.
So
Hey,
I
gotta
take
have
what
a
I'm
conscience,
owed.
man, because I already know I could be vengeful. So I got to prevent myself from going down that route because it'll get too deep.
All right. I mean, you know, we all have difference of opinion, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good chance to segue if you think
Oh,
about
yeah,
it.
that's why I started off. That's why I wanted to start. I thought it was a serious situation. It wasn't like that last time.
Yeah, last time was just
Yeah,
like,
a couple of foolery. It was a one serious joint, but a couple of foolery. You know.
yeah, this one is more like it'll jump from.
Yeah. So how do we segue? Because I feel like if I segue, I'm gonna have to go first, and I don't want to go first.
All right, so I mean, like I said, I'm not gonna be the one to go for. I'll give the guests that just do.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how to break the ice on this one.
Okay.
Oh man, don't tell me we.
No, we're not. No, we're not gonna make the female go first. No.
Okay, so you want me to go?
Yeah. You go first. Cause yours don't really be that bad though. Like it be bad, but it's like
You'd be surprised.
I would unless you tell us. Then we
Yeah,
won't be
exactly.
surprised.
That's the thing. I'm gonna tell you.
Okay, cool.
Okay, like one of my deepest traumas was it was father based,
Okay.
and this happened when I was just getting out of middle school. So I think I was around, I say about 12ish, going on 13, or something like that. Might have been 14, something like that. But regardless of the age, I went to my father's house. He lived in South Carolina, and from the gate, I knew this was a bad idea. I think, like, because we stopped at my grandmother's in North Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where he was going to pick me up at. And my mother and father, they didn't have a good relationship. As a kid, I didn't know why,
Okay.
but soon I found out why. So I'm going into a situation where I'm oblivious, and I see my father for the first time in like a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Cool at first, real cool, because it might have just been because I was around my grandmother. So then we get on the road. He talks to me. He's like, I was actually surprised at what you look like. I didn't even know if you were my son anymore, because he had a thing with fat people.
Okay.
Like, he did not like it.
Mm-hmm.
He hated it. He hated the idea. Remember, my mom told me once that he said if she ever got fat, he'd leave her.
Okay.
So he wasn't a good person. I didn't know that. So the whole time I'm at his house it was supposed to be for a summer. Whole time I'm at his house, it's like boot camp, because he hates the idea of a fat son.
Okay.
It wasn't the fact that he wanted me to be healthy. He just didn't want me to be fat because it made him look bad. So it was consistent. Like the belittling, it was truly consistent throughout the entire time. So there's points in time where I would get in trouble. This is like one of the darkest points. Got in trouble once. I'm expecting to get like a normal whooping. Like he pulls out a broomstick and literally beats the hell out of me with it. Like, his blood splattered on the wall. I probably jammed at least like 4 or 5 of my fingers, and like I'm not crying, but I'm surprised. Like, wait a minute, what the hell is this? Like, he literally broke a metal pole on me.
Damn.
By the time he was done, a piece of the pole was actually stuck in the wall. That's how bad it was. Like, he swung that hard that it hit me and it broke off and it went into the wall.
Okay.
And I'm trying my best to block it. Please, just stop. He didn't stop until he was done. I just wanted him to be done, but it just didn't. It never happened. It took at least a whole minute worth of being beaten. And like I said, blood splattered on the wall. It stayed there for weeks. And there was also another situation where we were supposed to be doing some little random essay or something. He just wanted us to write for some reason. I forgot what it was.
Mm-hmm.
So I told him, I was like, okay, if I write on this, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, I can still write on it. And he was like, no, get one of the chairs out of the kitchen and then write on that. And then I didn't, because I was fine where I was writing. He pulls me to the side, like pulls me to the living room. The rest of my little brother and his brother, they were in the room. He pulls me to the living room. I was like, why didn't you get the chair? Like, he's really, really hostile.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wait, what do you mean? I was fine the way I was. Like, I didn't have to get a chair to write on when I was cool. So he gets real close to me, like incredibly hostile. Like I'm like 14. You're in your 30s. He balls up his fist and punched me in the face. Like literally punched me as hard as he could. He bust my lip. Like I had a busted lip for God knows how long. Like there was like inside of my mouth, like there was a hole in almost all the way through in my mouth. Cause when he hit me, it like my tooth actually went into my the bottom of my lip. So it was blood and all that shit, like coming out of my mouth and shit. I was like, what the hell is this? What did I get myself into? Because I wanted to come here. I thought my dad was somebody that I could be around. I didn't know this was him. And at the same time, he's having me read Bible scriptures and stuff like that. And I'm like, wait, what? How? How do you exist in this realm? Right. Like when you're dealing with somebody who's overly religious, but at the same time, you're beating your child almost to death. Mm-hmm. So I had to deal with that for years. Even to this day, I look at it. I mean, I can probably talk to him, but I'll never really respect him for that.
Right.
I mean,
does he treat you different now?
No, he doesn't. He's still the same person.
Okay.
Because that's the reason why I don't really talk to him. He's still that same guy.
Right.
So I haven't talked to like that side of the family in years. It's just because of that. Like I just don't. So that's honestly how it started out for me. So we can head on to the next person. I ain't want to take off a whole bunch of time.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah. I don't really have like no childhood traumas outside of like, you know, the normal hazing in the neighborhoods. You know, you got to fight all the time. You know, getting jumped and shit. You know, just regular. You grew up in the hood. You know what I'm saying? You deal with other neighborhoods. It's regular stuff. Like my biggest traumas came from like, I'll say relationships.
Okay.
Yeah. So the romantic world is like where I've experienced like life-changing trauma. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And you know, you always hear people say like, we talked about this last time, the cliches. Mm-hmm. And so it's different when you hear them versus like when you actually experience them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So for me, remember we was talking about earlier the long relationships, right? And you were saying that yours was 7 years, and so I've had one that was 7 years, and like yours, you know, a few years in, you kind of notice like stuff ain't really what it seemed. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And eventually, because I made a reckless decision in my relationship, like I had a kid. You know what I mean? So it's like essentially you're tied to this person. Supposed to be. Because even to this day, you know, people would go out their way to make sure like you have to jump through hoops of fire to, you know, right, get where you got to be. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it's like, it really was traumatizing because it was like, nobody's perfect. But at the same time, you know when you're giving your all, that you deserve a little leeway. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so when the relationship wasn't working, it was like, I guess because of the time frame, we got into it, I think I might have been 18, maybe 19. But by the end of it, you're 26. So it's like you're essentially two different people. Mm-hmm. You're a kid and then you're a grown man. So I spent like a lot of time trying to mature, especially once we had a kid, because you got to step up. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I felt like I should have at least received equal, you know, effort or commitment, but wasn't getting it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So unfortunately, after a while, you just come towards a conscious decision. We talked about this last time too. Mm-hmm. Like, no matter how tough the decision may be, you got to realize, like, eventually, you can't keep going off of potential. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Once you see, like, it is what it is, like, I just made, like, a conscious decision. And to this day, I wonder if things would have been different if I would have just do what people normally do and just stay around anyway. But I made like a conscious decision to like get out of that relationship. And then things went like super wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, without dropping any names, because if you went to Fordsville, you probably know who she is anyway. But it's like she had moved down south, and even when she moved down south, she took my son down there with her. She disappeared for like a year before I even heard from her. I don't know if the plane crashed. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know. You don't know. You know what I mean? And so then after like a year, you know, she's like randomly pops up like nothing happened. You know what I mean? Like, just like you haven't been gone for a year. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
Yeah, and it's like now I'm thinking like, yo, something's like wrong. Something's like wrong. You know what I mean? And so then, of course, to get back in the good graces, we start talking like every day. Not like dating or nothing, but just talking. So I feel like it was going towards her trying to date again. But I didn't want to, especially not at this time. We just had 7 years. It didn't work. There's no need to bring this back around. You know what I mean? And so once that was made perfectly clear, then it was like, that's when all the child support stuff kicks in, and no, I'm just going to stop answering the phone and change my number. You don't know, blah, blah, blah. And it turns around, and now it's been like 4 or 5 years since I haven't seen my son. You know, I get to talk to him, but I got to even jump through hoops to do that. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it's like the situation. It really traumatized one, because you got a kid that you're not actively in his life, that they try to keep you out of his life. The money's good, like, except for that part. That part's always, you know what I'm saying? That part's always welcome. But as far as like visiting here or there, it's always like that's when arguments happen, and then it's an excuse not to do either or. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so it's like after a while, I tend to just like suppress that situation, because like eventually I just stop telling people I even have a kid. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't know that.
Yeah.
You know?
I was going to say, just discovering that today was a huge surprise to me.
Yeah, you know. I'm not going to hide it. I'm just not going to, you know, throw it out there either. You know what I'm saying? Like, anybody that lives in this neighborhood knows, because he used to be here. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, outside of, like, this neighborhood, nobody knows, because it was so long ago. But, yeah, that situation, it traumatized me. It made me feel different about relationships in general. It made me feel a little different about females. It made me it makes you like look at the bigger picture about life itself, you know, and what you really be up against.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the only good thing I really took from that is that I had to go through that to become what I am right now. And I really fuck with who I am right now at this moment.
That's good.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have been like this if I'd went, you know, didn't go through that.
That's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah. So, other than that, besides little random traumatic experiences, that was like the biggest one.
I think that's a lot of us though. Like, you know, if it wasn't for our experiences, you know, a lot of us wouldn't be who we are today, and coming into, you know, just the person the people that we are individually.
Right.
Like, our experiences really shape and mold us, you know what I'm saying, into the people that we're supposed to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
I agree. I agree with that. Very true.
So, Mark, your turn.
As I told y'all before, I could write many, many books. But much like you, relationships is definitely the most traumatic, and I can say that wholeheartedly even now, because my experience from a previous relationship, it still vexes me.
Right.
I mean, of course, I've had I've had childhood traumas. I've been bullied and had to deal with, things with the parents and all that. I've overcome those things though.
Right.
Right now, it is about, the relationships. I've been in countless amounts of relationships, years and years. Of course, the one for 7 years was the longest, but there was one that it was like an ongoing thing for 5 years,
Right.
almost touching that point. It's like a dying more than once type of thing for me.
Right.
You
right.
know,
Right.
And the best way I could put it for my life, being that I'm a Scorpio and everything, people say, well, Scorpios, they become phoenixes. They have to burn in their own ashes and rise again. So that's the only thing that really helps me push forward or shine a little bit of light on the situation, because I do feel like that all the time, where I feel like, oh, well, I've just died. This is another death for me. When will this end? I've been in several relationships where it was literally, you hear the common thing, I'm not like the last girl.
Right.
And so trust is a very cherishable thing for me. But when you screw that up, it's hard for me to give it to you, no matter how much I want to give it to you.
Right.
And I fight to the death of myself to a point where it's not healthy for me to try to give you that trust. And I've done that so many times for so many relationships to a point where it was abused.
Right.
Like I said, I hear it all the time. I'm not like the last girl, and then I believe it. But I see so many similarities, like the previous relationship.
Right.
Now, I started dating when I was young, and I've had the experiences. It's one thing to go through something and say, "Oh, well, shit hit the fan,"
Right.
life happens. But for it to be consistently a thing for different relationships and different type of people and different type of backgrounds, you start to question yourself.
Right.
It started to feel like insanity.
Right.
So, I've been, of course, cheated on, but who hasn't?
Right.
But I've been cheated.
I haven't.
Oh, well, I mean,
Okay, we got a lucky.
yeah, I was gonna say lucky you.
Lucky you.
I've been cheated on several times. I've had suspicions of a lot of things,
Right.
and even brought it to the light and expressed it. And one thing that actually became a serious yo-yo effect for my relationships was I've dealt with a lot of girls that made it seem like I was just over-exaggerating.
Okay.
Imagine that, being in a relationship for years and you constantly get berated with, you're over-exaggerating, it's just you, I'm not doing this, that, and the third. And you constantly begin to really tell yourself, all right, well, maybe I am over-exaggerating. The very most serious relationship I've ever had that I recently lost, maybe it's almost a year now, I guess, I went through that.
Okay.
And I've seen all the similarities. I've heard all the it's just yous. I've also been told that it's not about me.
Right.
We were definitely two broken people though, for sure.
Okay.
And I've came in with my issues, and obviously she did as well. But when you constantly being told that you need to trust somebody and you give that no matter how hard it is, or if it's against your best judgment, or if it's against your intuition, your instinct, that's when it becomes insanity.
Right.
I've been broken for that. I've been in court and jail for relationships. For things that really was on my dime in my hand that I would say that I did deserve, and some I really just didn't. It was a constant thing where people weren't really taking responsibility for what it is that they did.
Okay.
And so it always brought the question to me, people can see how I react. Mark is crazy, or he's this or he's that. But nobody really asked, why is he acting that way?
Right.
What is it that happened on the other side? And see, the thing is, I wasn't really much of a talker or really quite well with expressing myself, even in my relationships.
Right.
So, of course, the girlfriends always had the first shot of explaining the story first.
Okay.
And me, I always sit in the back, just not saying much of anything because, of course, I'm not trying to expose myself or even the person that I'm dealing with. That wouldn't have been fair.
Right.
So I get hey, man, I heard about this. What's up with you? I've had people walk up to me wanting to fight me, not knowing exactly why they wanted to fight me.
Right.
I've had people question my character and say a lot of things to me. And I'm just like, well, do you know what it is that you're supporting? Do you know why it is you standing in front of me? You want to stab me up? You want to shoot me? You want to fight me? Like, what type of person is it that you saw when you had that conversation before you stepped to me? Because I can tell you the whole truth. But the thing is, though, am I going to die for the truth because you want to be in denial or what? You know, that was always a screwed up thing that I had to constantly deal with.
Right.
I think recently the most worst thing I ever actually heard, though, and it wasn't even something that was typical hellacious things to say. The worst thing that I've actually heard from somebody on the behalf of support of the ex-girlfriend was, I'm not worried. I'm a real man of God. Now, of course, that sounds like nothing to you and everybody else who's sitting here, but the context behind it was basically I was painted as a very ugly picture, and I knew that was a habit. I wasn't, I didn't have to go through that once. I went through that with several guys for one girl.
Okay.
I've seen dudes come and go with one female that I known for two and a half years and constantly stuck around for. Now, it wasn't sanity on my part that I actually stuck around because there was a lot of things that told me to leave. But I did it. I played it how I wanted to be treated.
Okay.
What I thought was loyalty. I stayed. I didn't want to abandon her. To this day, I felt like that's what I was doing. And it brought so many chances for her to screw me over.
Right.
And she did it constantly. She proved that she was going to screw me over. She even said it a few times. I'd rather hurt you first before I get hurt.
Yeah, that's a common thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bad part about it was she was so good at hiding it, to a point she even believed it herself.
Okay.
A lot of people see her as this great person, and I'm not going to take that from her. She's a wonderful person. There's a reason why I started to fall in love with her.
Right.
There's a reason why I felt attached to her, because I actually saw that person despite thereof all the worst things. But the thing is, when she tells the story, I always had to ask, what was it that you told? Because you already showed that you can manipulate a story or leave things out.
Right.
Every detail counts. And she would say the same thing to me. Well, I'm pretty sure you went and told your people this, that, and the third, and you left stuff out. No, I didn't. Because for one, they seen this before. I can't lie if I wanted to.
Right.
But what was the point of lying? And why am I going through all this? Why am I going in and out of hospitals, trying to kill myself, take my life for you, if I'm just going to manipulate? That means I can manipulate the whole entire situation and I'll be okay. Right. You'll be the one who'll be pulling their hair out.
Right.
So recently, before I even started hanging out with you, also Mike, actually it took a near-death experience for me to start doing this.
Okay.
Like, I was in the hospital. Word got out that Mike heard about it. Literally, it took up to 6 cops to pull me out of my house. And I had to get strapped down to this bed and halted up onto an ambulance like I was being crucified. And it took some work because I kept breaking out of the straps. But I remember this vividly. I'm sitting in my front yard in front of all my neighbors, tears and all, for this one woman. And you want to know what did that? It was, she knew how to push the buttons. She was on the phone with me, but she was with the guy. And it only took one kiss. Pin drop, everything went out.
Right.
To this day, there's still my blood on my bedroom walls. I have to look at a patch in my wall because I can't even remember how long ago before that very day that I've had to punch a hole in my wall.
Right.
I have scars here on my wrist from punching glass tiles and drywall in one shot.
Right.
But I have to sit there and look at that, and it reminds me of what it is that I was dealing with.
Right. Right. Right.
Constantly, I would try to tell people a lot, though, you got to own up to everything that you do. Me, I'm willing to be transparent about my mistakes, especially if you used to come and ask me, you know, like, what is it that you did? Sure, I'll tell you, because I need you to know when I do transform that exactly where it came from, how hard it was, that you can overcome anything when I
Right.
finally do get to it. Right now, it still sticks to me to this very day. I came in, to be honest, I don't know if you noticed, I came in with the worst mood in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, you did say you was off today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I remember that. To this day, I know for a fact that she's acting like she did nothing.
Right.
And that bothers me because going to a religious standpoint, if you believe in God, God saw it all too.
Right.
But you know, you would think that's the last saving grace where something was to go right,
Right.
or at least justice will come in. So none of that has changed. I've seen karma,
Mm-hmm.
but does it exist for everybody? So like, to, you know, this very day, it traumatizes me because if I was to get into another relationship, could I trust that person?
Right.
If they was to say, I'm not like the last one, and they really mean that, can I believe you?
Yeah.
You know, I've had that. That was the worst relationship I've ever dealt with. But to this day, I still feel for her. Alongside with somebody before her, I nearly had a child that wasn't even mine.
Okay.
That 7-year relationship, after 3 years, I found out she did something. After all suspicion and getting a third degree about how I was being over exaggerating. Then another 3 years went by and I found out that she possibly could have been pregnant if it wasn't for the birth control.
Right.
Like, it's a whole not trusting thing for me that
Yeah.
destroys me.
Okay. So do you feel like you like fully healed from those?
Some, but not all.
Yeah.
Especially the very last one. I know I haven't.
Yeah. Because I feel like that's going to be like the determining factor, and like your trust levels going up and down.
Yeah. Like, I lost that relationship to ultimatums. Where the ultimatum started was because my ex was involved, which was not helpful.
Okay.
It actually kind of made matters a little bit worse. But it was different people on different sides. She had somebody who was on the outside looking in, vouching for her, making things worse, and my ex was on my side, making things worse. But I ended up losing a relationship to something that she thought was going on. Like, the first couple of months I started working at my new job, of course, a rumor went around that I was sitting there screwing one of my coworkers at the time. Like a month and a half in. Like, I must be moving pretty quick to be sitting there and just screwing somebody in a month and a half.
Right.
And so I expressed that to her because I was a very open and honest dude in my relationship, you know. And she got upset with me because I couldn't distance myself from my coworkers. And it wasn't like on purpose. It was literally my job required for me to be around them because I was in training and I had to learn everything. I had to be around them, and everything is so tight-knit in that space.
Right.
And it was funny to me because she did that too. She played on the fact that she got attention from a lot of people. And she never really neglected to be like, well, I'm not going to go do this with this dude or anything like that. It was always, well, what you won't do, another man will.
Damn.
And now that it came back to her, and I guess her, you know, form of karma, and I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't doing it on purpose, she just felt like, well, you dealt with your ex, you friend with your ex. I'm friends with my ex not because I love her, it's because she showed unprecedented loyalty.
Right.
I do that for all my friends that'll do that. And so she took that with me being around my coworkers. I was out one day on my lunch break that I only had 15 minutes, and I'm going around collecting an outfit and stuff like that, collecting things for a picnic for her and I.
Mm-hmm.
My coworker was there helping. I told her about it. She got upset with me about that. She's saying, well, you out there on a lunch date with another female. We then had a conversation one day before I went to work, and she gave me the opportunity to express myself. As I was expressing myself, I was expressing myself about her and what it is that we was going through, because that was the only thing that mattered to me. That was the only thing that was bothering me.
Mm-hmm.
It lit a whole totally different fire underneath her, where she got upset. She didn't want to hear about it. And it's like she never wanted to hear anything that involved her. She wanted me to vent, but did not want me to talk about anything that involved her.
Okay.
So she left the relationship, hung up. I tried to call her several times. I was definitely notorious for blowing phones up.
Okay.
And so eventually I got to a point where I was like, this ain't gonna work. It never did. And so I prayed on it. I wasn't too huge of a believer of things working out with that prayer, but I just I trusted it, and I haven't spoken to her for 2 weeks. Finally, after having night traumas of cold sweat, can't sleep, waking up, terrorized, or fast heartbeats, eventually I said enough is enough. I'm going to reach out like I always had to.
Right.
And found out that it was another man involved. First, I had to find out why she was drunk, and that terrified me, because when she goes out and drinks, things tend to happen when males are around.
Right.
And that's a totally different animal. But so I found out there was another male involved, and it made me think, well, within 2 weeks, was this planned? Like, did you just leave the relationship and there was something that you weren't telling me, and so this was your only way out? Because you left me for an idea that was not even true. I wasn't flirting with no females or anything like that. I didn't even know the females. I explained the situation the way it was required for me to be around them, because I had to learn the job. I'm sitting here pre-testing people for their eyes. I'm dealing with prescriptions for people to actually see.
Right.
So I had to learn this, and I had to gain that much as possible, and my job is female dominated. There's only, 2 or 3 other dudes there, not including myself, and they're not there every day. And in fact, there was only 3 dudes when I first started.
Right.
So explaining that, she just up and left and dipped out, and having the first interaction with dude, this is where the whole I'm a real man of God situation came in. And that burned a fire in me, because I'm like, well, what person who's any type of religious would say that? Like, if you're a real man of God, you wouldn't belittle somebody from how low he is with his relationship with God.
Right.
So it just makes me think, like, dude could be a great dude, but knowing the person that she was before she got that relationship, it makes me think, like, damn, do you deserve that?
Right. Right.
And here I am having to take all the brandishment of learning my way through, which is fine, because I'd rather deal with that to know for a fact that I'm not being a fool. I need to know about my flaws and what it is I need to correct. But there's people out there that's masquerading and saying that they deserve this, that, and the third because it looks nice.
Right.
And they're not really owning up to what it is that they did, or being transparent enough to speak on what it is that they were doing before they got to the gold and glitter.
Right.
So, that really, it pegs me a lot to see that happen.
Yeah.
When it comes to things like that, you gotta let motherfuckers be who they are.
Yeah.
And you really cannot lose a wink of sleep, you know what I'm saying, when the other person is out here living their best fucking life. You got to go live your best life too, because,
Facts.
you know what I'm saying, if they not out here losing sleep, why you gonna do the same thing? You know what I'm saying? I think, you know what I'm saying, like I said, our experiences, they mold us and they shape us. Like, we really have to, you know what I'm saying, take our experiences and, like, just understand, like, what they're trying to show us, you know what I'm saying, and just appreciate it. And I think a lot of the times after relationships, like, we do have those thoughts, like, especially if we feel like we've been done wrong in a relationship, and we see them moving on and they going on trips, you know, they out there with they boo, and then you still here trying to get over them. You like, that motherfucker don't deserve that shit, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's like, you can't control what the fuck is going on over there. You can only handle how you react and, you know what I'm saying, how you get over the situation, you know what I'm saying? And thinking about and worrying about what, you know what I'm saying, the person did that, you know what I'm saying, used to be here with me, that shit, it don't do nothing for me but bring me down. So it's like, at what point, it's like, how do you let go? You know what I'm saying? And how do you move forward? I don't always believe that, you know what I'm saying, they say the best way to get over one is to get up under another one. That shit don't always work. Sometimes you have to take time for yourself to just heal and learn yourself and understand not what, you know what I'm saying, they did to you, but what did you do, you know what I'm saying, to cause them to react this way, you know what I'm saying? Or did you even do anything for them to react a certain way? Because a lot of times people, when we meet people, they're already the person that they're going to be. We're just learning them, you know what I'm saying? They're either going to get better or they're going to stay at that level, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, I think you can't worry about that shit, man.
That was it was definitely a tough pill to swallow each and every day. Like now I'm living life however I can. I'm stacking my chips and everything, and I'm getting my endeavors for sure. It's just thinking about how that all played out. It makes you wonder, like damn, again, like, did you plan this? And I definitely had to deal with the whole me being taken advantage of second guessing myself, because there was times like it was pointed out to me that I was being this type of person. I was being hellacious too at a certain point. And then I'm like, you know what, I gotta check myself. And then to a point, it was like I was the first one to check myself. And it was taken advantage of. It was just like, all right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and keep picking at your conscience. I'm gonna have you do this and do that, and I'm gonna point this out so you can feel bad about it, to a point where now you destroy yourself and where you have nothing to come back from. So it was like, with her, she definitely made sure I did not go anywhere. She knew for a fact I didn't want to at a certain time, but when it did come to a point where I was like, you know what, I'm gone, like, she found a way to make me feel bad about it.
You know, I'm sorry. My mother told me, she was like, this is probably the best thing that I ever heard, because I'm a Scorpio too, so I feel you on a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Trust issues is like my biggest thing, you know what I'm saying? But my mother was like, she said that people that are givers, like, we have to set limits, because the takers, they don't have none. And as long as we give and give and give, they're going to take and take and take. So at some point, like, we have to set, you know what I'm saying, the bar to let them know, all right, well, I'm giving you this much, but, you know, I'm not going to give you all of me without nothing in return. You know what I'm saying? So, because that shit is draining. It's very draining. And you can't let nobody drain you, man. Because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, you got to have something for yourself. And I'm big on, you know what I'm saying, believing that, you know what I'm saying, I can't help the world if I ain't straight first. You know what I'm saying? So I have to make sure that I'm good before I can do anything else for anybody else. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, but I definitely feel,
it's very traumatizing experiences, which is why we've been doing more mental health videos. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had one of the OGs that I call around here. When I was younger, he had gave me like a scenario, and you know, when you out playing in the basketball court, blah blah blah, you know, real conversations always happen in the midst of like a lot of foolery. So I was explaining to him about a situation. This was like a BS relationship. It wasn't even nothing like super crazy, but a regular relationship. So he was asking me, and he was saying, like, you know, it's two ways you can go about it, and this is what helps me to this day. He says, if you're hurt, you're hurt. So all four of us sitting right here, let's just say that we're hurt. Everybody just got our bad relationship. He says, there's two kinds of hurt that you can be. You could be hurt and stupid, or you could be hurt and smart. And he was saying, when you're hurt and stupid, it's a lot like what we talked about. You kind of see things for what they are, but you just keep trying to push on and make it work out. And he was like, as tough as it is, you got to be hurting smart, because that's the only way you're gonna heal and get to like where you want to be.
Right.
So it's as tough as it is, because trust me, I tell Mike all the time, I fight this to this day with females. It's tough. Trust me. You know what I'm saying? It's tough. But you just got to be, whatever you do, you got to scratch and claw to be smart about it.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And even the other way around, because I know niggas is knuckleheads too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it ain't just like females. You know what I mean?
I know a few.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm looking at
right.
one right now.
Yeah, and I knew. Yeah, so I caught on, but yeah, I got him. Yeah, I could be a knucklehead, but I'm not gonna be that kind of knucklehead.
Where?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
They
I wasn't even
definitely
talking
out here.
about you, bro. But you just
Nah.
volunteered yourself.
Nigga say he's
Oh,
looking
I mean,
looking
there's
at
only
one
one living now. I
Yeah,
know it
he's
ain't
looking
me.
dead at me. Oh, he's looking at you.
I mean, you make it seem like y'all the only two people I know for real.
You said you was looking at one, so it had
No,
got
I
to be
didn't
one of
say
us.
it.
It got
I
to be.
didn't- I didn't say I was looking at one at first.
He said, I'm looking at one
At
right
first,
now.
at first, I ain't say that. I was like, I know a few. And
So
then,
are you trying to say one of us is a knucklehead?
I mean, you can be at times.
No. I'm not that kind of knucklehead.
All right, then, but I'm saying you can be at times. But
I'm not gonna.
I wasn't gonna put you into it at first. It was just
Yeah.
gonna be. I
I'm
know
not-
a few.
I'm a different kind of knucklehead. Yeah. I'm not gonna like if I'm in a relationship. I like I said, I fuck up. I'm not gonna do no shit like cheat or nothing like that. I'm not gonna do nothing extreme. You know, I might lack communication here and there, but that's from traumas too. You know what I'm saying? Like I get it done to me, so over time I just like
Definitely, communication is definitely a key.
yeah.
It's a real key.
That's like
It
my
is.
that's
That
like my
people
biggest factor.
neglect.
If
I'm big
a
on that.
female, if I'm talking to a female and she doesn't communicate good, you automatically like get put into like a section where it's like I'm just gonna fall back slowly but surely.
There's times I wish I could do that though, like actually, and inhibit doing something like that, like you, because I'm a type of person where it's like I would try everything literally to make it all work out. I'm a type of person that'll hold that hot potato regardless of the third degree burn.
Oh yeah, I used to be
You
like
know.
that, but eventually you get tired.
Yeah,
just
you get tired of that shit after a while. I've become the type of person. I'm 32 now. I'm so different than when I was 22. When I was 22 and I was in a relationship and my dude wasn't acting right, or we got into it and we were just having an off week, I was blowing his phone up.
Right.
I was doing drive-bys. My baby father, I followed him to 3 IHOPs one time because
God.
he wouldn't answer his phone, and we lived like a street over from each other. And he knew how to push my buttons, you know what I'm saying? So I followed this. But now I'm just like, I'm so over that and I'm so beyond that because I've learned myself over the years. And to prevent myself from going to jail, I will remove myself from a situation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And I'm just so beyond the extra, antics because I've learned my worth, you know what I'm saying? And in some points I'm still learning it, but I've learned a big bulk of my worth, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I know that, like somebody mentioned earlier, you know what I'm saying, something about it's what one person don't do, the other will. I'm not that type of person to throw that into my man's face, but I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind. I'm going to let you know what I'm saying, only so many times, okay, well, I need this or I need that done. And if it doesn't get delivered, then, you know what I'm saying, I have to pull back on my feelings, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I don't know, I just learned, it's so many tactics that I've had to learn just to protect my feelings because I'm so used to putting myself out there first. I'm so
Right.
used to calling all the time first, or, you know what I'm saying, oh, he ain't calling me today, sorry, I'm just going to call him anyway. Like, I had to, really put myself on hold just to protect myself. And, I recognize, you know what I'm saying, that it's traumas and, in a relationship, if we're going back and forth, you know what I'm saying, I might get to the point where I'll give him the silent treatment. But it's a reason for everything, though. I'm not just being quiet because I didn't like what you said. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm quiet, you're not listening to me, so I'm tired of talking. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But
Makes sense.
like I said, everything is a learning experience. Like, I learned a whole lot from 22. Like, I'm not blowing nobody's phone up because I know that for a man is going to do what he wants to do. You know what I'm saying? He's going to go where he wants to be at. So if a nigga ain't calling me, it's because he don't want to be calling me. And I'm not about to try to, you know what I'm saying, other than just being my genuine self and, you know what I'm saying, just, you know what I'm saying, being the woman that I am when he's around and we're within each other's presence. Like, outside of just giving him me, like, there's nothing else that I can do to prove to a man that I'm, you know what I'm saying, that I can be that one. I just feel like when with men, like, they have to come to you. Like that, I think that is something that I'm learning. Like you can't chase after no nigga. You got to let them come to you.
Yeah.
And
and vice versa.
yeah,
definitely.
that too.
Yeah, because
Or at least that's how I feel about those situations.
Yeah, I'm not a track star no more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not. Yeah,
Man,
I got
I used to
asthma.
be.
I can't run behind.
yeah. You know, we got to do relay races now. You
Yeah,
know?
I'm too fat to be running.
You know what I'm saying? Me too.
Man, you keep saying you fat, man. You better
Look,
stop.
man, I
Yeah,
am
they've
too.
been both of them been on the road today, haven't they?
Yeah,
God.
man. You
Like
been
I
saying
told
that
you,
all
fat
day.
at heart counts, man.
It doesn't.
No, it don't count at all. Like, man, built like a professional boxer talking about I'm fat.
And you guys see them days when I really just don't care about the meals I eat.
It doesn't matter what day. you
Right,
eat.
right,
It doesn't matter because you still look
Right.
like this as your base.
Man,
Like, you hear this, man?
Look, man, my clothes and my body is full of lies.
You know what, bro? Shut up. We don't want to hear from you,
yeah,
rest of
he's
the
definitely.
podcast.
But like I said, I like how he try to make us feel better. You know what I'm saying? Like, put us in that gray area.
Remember, he said he has a sarcastic person.
Oh, see, I'm not being sarcastic
Yeah,
right
you
now.
did.
Trust and believe. I'll let you know
Yeah.
when I'm
No,
being
but
sarcastic.
you don't get to say when you are and when you aren't. We got to decipher that. You know
Oh, see,
what
no,
I'm saying?
I'm
then you-
I'm that savage. I'll tell you when I'm being
Then he'll
sarcastic.
start trying to manipulate us. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, no, we got.
Yeah, bro, that man, to learn the tricks of the trade. Now he going to try to use it on us.
Yeah, all right. We're on a different side of the market today. That's
Be careful
all right,
who you
man.
teach.
Yeah, and ain't gonna
Got
say
a little-
cryptic shit
what
like
about
that.
A little catchphrase and everything now. That's
Yeah.
all right, man. All right.
Think gonna be a whole super villain by the end of the podcast.
Nah, but today was definitely dope. Got to get out some vents. You
Yeah,
know.
trust me, I got a heck of a lot more, but you know, just we got time restraints.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
definitely want to appreciate the two guests.
Yes.
Thank you for
Hey,
having
I
me.
appreciate being here. You know,
No
I
problem.
needed this today.
No
for
problem.
sure.
Yeah. I feel like
Yeah,
we
you
should.
also need to take that, like, all that shit off, bro.
What?
All that bullshit you got on right
With the
now,
hoodie?
bro. We already done made fun of you enough. You should have came in this motherfucker with something else.
With the hoodie? What's wrong with the hoodie?
Yeah, fuck with the hoodie.
I already
All
called
right.
you a fucking track star coach and shit. Like,
Oh man.
Yeah.
So
like,
for those who can't see, I look like a bootleg mixed martial artist today.
Yeah. Well, like we said
but you
earlier,
study
he
Muay
is
Thai,
a-
so you're not.
He is the
bootleg.
master of disguises, though, because you do come in
Yeah,
here
this-
with a different style, like every time. Like,
Yeah, you
some
got-
days he's just like a professor.
I told you, bro, man. Got the Lupe Fiasco glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had the smooth little shaft look the one time.
Yeah, he did. He
Yeah.
came through with the
Yeah, the
trench
leather,
coat.
yeah, leather look. Yeah.
I came in with a trench coat.
Oh, I mean the little leather, little jacket.
The little leather jacket, yeah, not the trench coat. but
That's the
yeah,
one you
leather.
wore for the Jake Borg video.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And you came dressed
You
for
got
the
some-
occasion.
You got some styles, man. That's all right. Versatile. I'm one and done.
Yeah,
Black
like,
tee, white tee, jersey.
the most you see me in some shit like this. Like I wear shit like this all the time. I would dress comfortable.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about what anybody got to
Y'all
say.
make him
About.
sound like a real live Ken doll. All the outfits.
Oh, yeah, so you
Yeah, him,
yeah.
The most you gonna see him in his jerseys and Jordans.
Black tee, white tee, jersey.
So ladies out there that are listening, you can go ahead and date multiple persons in one.
So is
That's
that,
actually not a good
I'm
thing
about
to
to say,
say.
is that good or
that
bad?
sounds like
Like, I didn't-
that
yeah,
sounds like
man.
multiple personality
Man,
disorder.
Take it
You heard
however
me?
you want to.
Yeah, you heard Meg the Stallion. She said, what she say? Switch my wig, make him feel like he's cheating.
I'll see.
You know?
That's a
But-
toxic way of putting
and
it.
plus that's different. We don't want to date Meg. We just want to have sex with her.
Yeah, that's a different. I don't even want to have sex
You
with her. I
very
ain't gonna lie to you.
I want to have sex with her.
I don't.
I had sex with Meg.
See that?
Legs
That's
and
toxic
legs.
right there.
I'm
It's coming
fighting.
out.
I
It's
told you I'm
coming out.
fighting it. Damn.
It's coming
You
out.
can't- you can't-
Yeah, me like
I'll tell you one thing. Mike gonna catch. Mike gonna catch when you slip. When you slip up, Mike gonna catch you, man. I'll tell you one thing.
Hey, I want the best out of everybody that I'm around, man.
We trying, man. Scratching and clawing.
Kicking and screaming.
I knew you was gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that. I couldn't wait for you to say.
Soon
It.
to come.
Yeah, the Kicking and Screaming podcast is soon to come.
I can't wait. So you've been on our podcast twice, so I know we get like
Oh,
First,
yeah, of
first
course.
dibs is a guest, right?
Yeah, drop in,
Yeah,
please.
about to say, man. Yeah, Mikasa, Sukasa.
Yeah, I told you, man. I'm
Yeah.
gonna bring the clan.
He said he wanted me to star in like the short film he had planned for the first episode. I'm like, come on, bro.
You can't rush greatness.
Are you gonna kill him?
I'm
He
thinking
probably-
about it.
Yeah,
You
you gotta
probably
kill
are
Mike.
gonna try and
Because
kill me.
yeah,
like,
I gotta be
you
the
just-
first one to take him out in the
You gotta
film
kill
because
Mike.
he's
Mike-
been
Mike
living
ain't
for
never
too
done- Mike
long.
ain't- yeah, Mike ain't died in no film.
I'm the director. I'm not supposed to. I got plot armor like anybody in the anime. Like,
Definitely don't. He's definitely dying. I'm gonna write something just so he can die.
I got first.
Even
That-
if that's just the
so you
video
just gonna
itself.
plot my downfall like
yeah,
that?
video gonna be 10 seconds. Mike getting killed, and then yeah,
Yeah, it goes to show how your friends are. Like, you know what? This probably my last time coming over here.
What?
You
No,
you
but
won't see
watch
me
how
no
he-
more.
Watch how we go though. He probably gonna die in a very anticlimactic way, like choking on some cereal or something.
nah, we gonna
Problem.
do some, we gonna do something. Denzel and Training Day. some
Like
type
I
of
was about to
shit.
say, give it a Denzel vibe.
Yeah.
A positive moral value.
Nah,
That dog, he gonna
Nah.
try to make it as negative as possible.
nah, we gonna have
That's-
we gonna have the mob run down on him.
Yeah,
or something.
you-
you know what I'm saying?
That's
About 9-10 niggas with guns run down on him.
that's horrible, bro. Like, why would you want to do that to me in a short film, bro? Like, why?
Man,
Why?
At least you got a very awesome way to go.
No, it's not awesome. That's horrible. Every time that you died, it's been meaning towards it.
I
Well,
got-
depending
I was
on
gonna
who's
say,
directing
I've
it,
been
because
shot in the face and jammed in the back.
when you get shot in the face, at what point? Where?
Leonard shot me in the face in the first one.
Yeah,
When?
that's not a good way to go. The little King's nightmare that we
That's
did.
not. He didn't get shot in the face. That's just camera work. He could have
No,
got
he
shot
got-
in the
he
chest.
got- shot.
Yeah, he ran.
He
up
got-
and
Matter of
shot
fact,
me
he
in
got
the
shot
face.
like 3 times. Because remember, you got shot in the leg and you fell, and then he
Oh,
ran up.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, he got shot.
and
got
then
shot
you
in the back.
and then you shot him in the back like a week ago.
Okay, but he said he got
thought
shot in
a
the face.
week
He didn't get
ago.
shot in the face.
No, matter of fact, yeah, I died multiple times because actually didn't I die in Milani too?
Yeah, you died in that.
I
Yeah,
got
my
killed
niece
by-
killed you.
I got killed by a 4-year-old.
Oh yeah, see, yeah. But Mike, you gotta catch up. You gotta catch up.
Nah, bro, I'm cool.
Yeah,
I'm cool.
You gotta catch up.
I don't die well, but I revive very well.
We gonna learn. We gonna learn. We gonna get him.
Yeah.
But anyways, you wanna?
Why you gonna sit there? Y'all both of y'all just plotting on me. This is
we're not-
horrible.
We're not plotting. The plot's already done. We're not plotting. Like that's already
Fuck the
been
both of y'all,
established.
bro. I ain't
Are
got
you gonna
time.
lead us out?
You know what? All right, bro. This has been the Breaking the Narrative podcast. I like to think I guess the second time.
Thank y'all. Y'all
Yes.
welcome back anytime.
Yeah, you're definitely welcome. So that's it for us. We out here.